Evening when I first saw her again. The sun had begun its slow descent, casting long golden fingers across the town square. The place hadn't changed much. Cobblestone paths winding their way between old buildings, their faces etched with time. The fountain in the middle still trickled, a silent witness to years gone by. And yet, the world had moved on without me. I was sitting at a small cafe, a cup of cooling coffee in my hands when she walked past. At first, I thought my tired old eyes were playing tricks on me. The way she moved, the grace, the quiet confidence, it was all too familiar. But the years had softened her, silver now threading through her once dark hair. And then she turned her head, just slightly, and my breath caught in my throat. Emma. The name tasted bittersweet on my tongue. How long had it been? 40 years, maybe more. Time had carried us apart, like leaves on a river, drifting further and further until we were nothing but distant memories to one another. And yet, there she was, as real as the aching in my bones. I had loved her, more than I ever admitted, even to myself. She had been the brightest light in my youth, a flame that burned too fiercely, leaving scars I never quite healed from. We were young, reckless, and full of dreams. And then life happened. I remember our last night together. The rain had pounded against the windows of my tiny apartment, mirroring the storm between us. She had stood there, her arms wrapped around herself as if trying to hold her heart together. "We can't keep doing this, James," she had whispered. "We love each other, but love isn't enough. Not anymore." I had fought her, not with anger, but with desperation. I had begged, pleaded, promised that we could make it work. But in the end, she had been right. We wanted different things. She wanted adventure, to see the world beyond our small town. I wanted stability, roots planted firmly in the ground. And so, she left, and I let her. For years, I thought of her. I imagined the places she had seen, the life she had built without me. I had tried to move on, tried to love again, but it was never the same. There was always a part of me still tangled in the past, trapped in that last goodbye. And now here she was, standing just a few feet away, oblivious to the way my heart raced. Should I say something? Would she even remember me? Or had time erased me from her mind as thoroughly as it had stolen my youth? Before I could decide, she turned and saw me. For a moment, neither of us moved. Her eyes widened, lips parting slightly as if to speak, but no words came. And then, a small, wistful smile touched her lips. She stepped forward, hesitant at first, and then with more certainty. "James?" Her voice was softer than I remembered, but it still carried the same warmth that had once been my world. "Emma," I breathed, standing on unsteady legs. We stared at each other, and for a moment, it was as if no time had passed at all. We were just two people, tangled in the weight of what once was and what could have been. "It's been a long time," she said, and there was something in her eyes, something sad, something longing. "A lifetime," I replied. We sat together at my small table, talking in slow, measured words, as if afraid of breaking the fragile moment. She told me of her travels, of the love she had found and lost, of the children she had raised. And I told her of my quiet life, of the bookstore I had owned, of the nights I had spent wondering where she was. "Did you ever regret it?" I asked finally, my voice barely more than a whisper. She looked at me for a long time before answering. Not regret, exactly, but I did wonder. I wondered what might have been if we had chosen differently, if I had stayed, or if you had come with me. I nodded, understanding. Me too. The silence between us was filled with 1,000 unsaid things, with all the words we had left behind in our youth. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of fire and longing, I knew that some things were never meant to be recaptured. Some loves, no matter how deep, were meant to live in the past. As she stood to leave, she reached out and took my hand in hers. It was warm, familiar, but different. We were different. "Goodbye, James," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "Goodbye, Emma." And just like that, she was gone. I watched her disappear into the evening, feeling the weight of a love that had never truly faded but could never be again. I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and let the memory of her settle in my heart one last time, and then, slowly, I let it go.